Hey, welcome to part two of how to find a professional Dragon Laner in Wild Rift. To find these players, we're actually not going to be using Wild Rift, the app, at all. What we're actually going to do is look at the players who are currently live streaming their games. And so you have certain players who won't live stream their games, and so you're never going to know when they're in scrims, you're never going to know when they're in tournaments. We have other players like Jackie here. When you actually go to his broadcasts, you can actually see what he's doing. And so you have legendary ranked, and then you have normal ranked, and you have all these different events, you can call them. And sometimes he even has his scrims when he's actually, he has the access or the authority or the permission to live stream the scrims, etc. So you might find those as well in his VODs on Twitch. The issue is a lot of players don't think to look for players who are live streaming or creating content for scrims because they're not widely publicized. They usually keep scrims hidden, and that's because you want to keep all of the data, the important nuance and context of your drafting, whether you're using some type of new coaching strategies or tactics, or whether you're using like AI drafting picks. We'll talk about that later in different videos for AI drafting and champion select. So there's different things that you want to keep hidden from your competitors, from the enemy team, when you're playing in a professional or competitive environment, 5 versus 5 draft pick, because that information is super valuable to have. And so the issue is you're not going to find players like Jackie immediately in Wild Rift if they're not live streaming or creating content, because their scrims are private. They're not broadcasted, they're not uploaded to YouTube. You actually have to find these top players, play versus them, send them a friend request, and then you actually have to do the craziest part and the most difficult part is you actually have to directly ask them, like, hey, are you participating in scrims? Like, can I spectate your scrims, or can I speak with your coach or some type of person who is managing the tournaments or tournament organizer? And this is something which a lot of people are uncomfortable with doing because they don't want to give the bad first impression that they're just after some players to get carried, or but you have to think about it from the perspective of a beginner, from someone who is not a professional player. There's no reality, there's no world, there's no timeline, there's no dimension where I'm ever gonna be as good as Jackie at Dragon Lane. I'm not a professional ADC player. So the only way physically that I can learn how to get better to his level, to his competitive ability, is to physically watch his scrims and or participate in some type of coaching session with Jackie. And so those are the only two experiences that you can directly learn from Jackie through osmosis, through that transfer of the data, which you wouldn't be able to get otherwise from that solo queue experience in normal ranked or duo queue experience in normal ranked, etc. Or you have legendary ranked. You're not going to learn this stuff just from watching his live streams, just from seeing the experience that he has in YouTube videos, etc. Because it's going to take you too long. You're not going to get all the nuance and context. So the issue is there's 3 steps. There's 3 parts that you need. First, you have to get off the Wild Rift app. Second, you have to find content creators, professional players who actually participate in scrims, in tournaments. And third, you have to ask them directly, hey, can I participate in your scrims, or can I get coaching, or can I actually do some type of VOD review with you and we can go over your gameplay? You have to ask them directly because you don't have the time or the energy or the money or the attention to learn all the stuff Jackie knows about the game and Dragon Lane, especially, and these champions and the itemization and the macro, the micro mechanics. You don't have the resources to learn all of that by yourself. It's not possible because you're not a professional. It would take you lifetimes to adapt to all the different changes in the meta and the patch updates. So how do you actually learn this stuff quickly? Well, you have to participate with Jackie in these scrims, or you have to do the VOD reviews with Jackie, or you have to get coaching with Jackie. These are the only fast, reliable ways that are not only legal, like you're not going to get banned, but you're also going to be able to gain that experience in a way that is sustainable. You're not going to end up trying to game with like some booster or some people who are just trying to take advantage of the matchmaking system, because there are ways to do that, and a lot of these boosters do that to inflate and pad their stats. But again, we're not talking about that in this video. We're just talking about professional players who are Dragon Laners, ADC players, and how to actually find them, how to discuss what to actually learn, what to do with them, because you're not just going to play the game. You're not just going to play normal ranked or legendary ranked with these players, verse them, etc., and learn all this. You actually need to get some type of experience with the tournament draft, with the 5 vs 5 custom experience where they're using their coaching strategies and tactics, where the tournament organizers specifically have different rules and regulations for what is allowed during the game or during the drafting phase. You have to learn all of this stuff. And the issue with Wild Rift, especially right now, is that there's no content explaining all of this. There's no content actually teaching you how this stuff works, because again, it would take a lot of time, because you need a professional first of all, and then second, you need to actually be involved in these events, in these tournament drafts, in these events where you have specific coaching strategies and tactics that aren't widely available to the public. So the issue is, you're going to try to find someone like Jackie in solo queue or in duo queue in normal ranked in the beginning, and hey, you might climb to challenger or sovereign, or you might play legendary ranked and climb to legendary ranked legend, but that's not going to change anything. You're not just going to magically learn all the things Jackie knows just because you're playing in the same rank as him. And that's the problem, is that in your experience, because you don't have the context Jackie has when you're making these moves regarding Dragon Lane and the itemization and the ADC choices and the Dragon Laner decision making process and system he has, you don't understand all of that. And so it escapes you what is possible, what you can actually achieve. And that's why you have to get coaching. That's why you have to do VOD reviews. That's why you have to join these tournaments and actually see the scrims. You have to actually join the private scrims, the session, and watch them or participate in them, so you can see the difference in playstyle in the drafting phase and how they do the macro mechanics, because the level of gameplay is different from solo queue, and you won't know this because you don't see it.